Sciences Board to order. It is Friday, August 25th, 2017. It is approximately 8:40 in the morning. And let's see, we are located in Sacramento in the hearing room. Could I please have an establishment of a quorum?
Morning. Dr. Leah Brew.
Here.
Max Disposti.
Here.
Samara Ashley.
Here.
Christina Wong.
Here.
Deborah Brown.
Here.
Betty Conley.
Here.
Renee Launer. Dr. Christine Whitlisbach.
Here.
Dr. Peter Chu.
Here.
And for the records, Sarita Coley is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to start with introductions, and I'll start with you, Dr. Brew.
Dr. Leah Brew, LPCC member.
Max Disposti, public member.
Good morning, Samara Ashley, public member.
Christina Wong, LCSW member.
Deborah Brown, public member.
Kim Madsen, executive officer.
Betty Conley, LEP member.
Renee Launer, LCSW member.
Christine Whitlisbach, public member.
Peter Chu, public member.
Roseanne Helms, legislative analyst for the board.
Sabina Knight, incoming counsel.
Spencer Walker, outgoing counsel.
And Stephen?
Steve Sodergren, assistant executive officer of the board.
Roseanne, you introduce yourself. Okay. All right, thank you. Moving on to the chair report. Congratulations to the members who were reappointed by the governor, Christina Wong and Samara Ashley. Congratulations, and welcome back. Now on to the Senate.
And Deborah Brown.
And yeah. Okay, so moving on from there, we have the board member activities. Are there any members of the board that would like to share what they have done since the last time we met in May? Seeing none. Moving on. Exempt setting committee assignments. Since one of the members of the exempt setting is no longer with us, we are predicting only about 2 remaining meetings. So Christina Wong is going to step in as chair of that committee, and I'm going to step in the place of the vacancy for the remaining, what we think to be 2 meetings. If it goes on longer, we'll reevaluate that, and perhaps someone else will sit in my seat. Any questions or comments? Okay. Moving on, we have the 2018 meeting dates that are in your packet. Are there any questions or concerns? Do we need a vote on that? Okay. Someone have a comment? Dr. Brew, did you have a comment?
I was looking for them in the packet and I couldn't find them. It's above.
We can get you a hard copy.
I'm electronic. Page 5. Okay. Oh, okay, thank you.
Want me to give you a second to look at them? Okay, all right. All right, now we will move on to, we have a vacation of our vice chair, and so we need to nominate a new vice chair. So are there any nominations? On the
I second.
Okay.
Okay, I don't.
Do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
You accept? Thank you.
Well, I think we did that, but I want to see if there are any more from the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, seeing none, it's closed. And do we need a roll call vote?
Yes.
Dr. Leah Brew.
Aye.
Max Disposti.
Yes.
Samara Ashley.
Aye.
Christina Wong.
Yes.
Deborah Brown,
Yes.
Betty Conley, Renee Launer, Dr. Christine Whitlisbach,
Yes.
Dr. Peter Chu,
I'll say yes just for you, Betty.
and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And congratulations to Christina Wong for chairing the exempt committee.
Thank you.
And thank you for that.
That worked out just perfectly. All right, so now we're going to move on to the executive officer's report. So if you're on, Kim.
Okay, so we'll start with the budget. Our budget for last fiscal year, 16-17, was $12,550,000. Expenditures through the end of June 30th totaled just a little over $11 million. So we spent about 88% of our budget authority. At the end of June, we had collected just a little over $10 million in revenue. So we're doing okay. The fund condition for fiscal year 16-17 does reflect a 4.2 month reserve, which is fine. We still have general fund loans out totaling $6.3 million. Currently, they are projected to be repaid in fiscal year 17-18, this one. So we shall see. And then moving forward, our fiscal year budget for this coming year, 17-18, is basically $11.3 million. Some of that monies include an approved expenditure authority for areas we have typically not had authorized funding for in our enforcement program. Previously, we've never had an expense line item for court reporters. We now have that covered. Witnesses, more fees for Office of Administrative Hearings. So, and then adjusting just a little bit more money for our general attorney general line. Historically, we tend to exceed the expenditure authority, and so we've just done a realignment. So that's good to see for next year. Are there any questions on the budget? Okay. Moving forward to our operations for the fourth quarter of fiscal 16-17, overall our application volumes increased by 30% in the last quarter. So business is alive and well. Paper. Our processing times, even despite some vacancies in a couple of the licensing units, we still remain under 30 days for processing applications for most of the applications. You'll see a slight uptick in the LCSW exam eligibility application times, and that's due primarily to a vacancy in that particular unit, which I'm happy to say we've been filling some vacancies, and so vacancies in the MFT unit and the LCSW unit should be filled shortly. We issued 1,440 new licenses in the fourth quarter, and at the end of June we had just over 108,000 licensees total. So we are growing. That's reflecting about a 3 to 5% increase each year if you look at the trends. And again, I don't know that this is going to surprise many of you, but it was kind of interesting to see in comparing across the nation. California has 60% of the total MFT licensees in the country. And we are second in social work licensing only to New York, and not by much. So, and we're right in the middle of LPCCs when you look nationally. So that's, by, you know, yeah, we're growing. And they're coming in. The exam program, which we'll have a more in-depth presentation here just a little bit later this morning. We have included the statistics for the fourth quarter as well as the statistics by school and pass rates. This last quarter we had 8 examination development workshops. We've revised the application for re-examination. It's available now on our website. And we have some improved language regarding the 12-hour law and ethics course that registrants may be required to take in order to retake the exam. So we're hoping that's cleaning that up, the questions there. We continue to recruit for subject matter experts, particularly for LPCCs and LEPs are needed. We're encouraging any interested individual that's a licensee to apply through our website. The subject matter experts in the exam program help develop the exam, and it's through their expertise and using the results from the occupational analysis and the domains that were developed. They develop questions based on that analysis, and so we really do need that licensee expertise. We're beginning a new occupational analysis for the LPCC program. It's going to begin mid-October, and we're encouraging any LPCC contacted to please respond. And we've made the individuals aware of this through a mailer that was sent out at the earlier part of this month. And we continue to work with OPES to ensure ongoing workshops, coordination, exam development, smooth testing experience, positive testing experiences for our applicants. And it's a nice partnership that we have with them. Through our administration program, the number of applications that we received in the fourth quarter was 10,755. That does not include renewal applications and does reflect a 5% increase over the last quarter. If you look in your packet, you will see the actual renewal activity. Total renewals we received in the last quarter were 14,258. 38% of our population is using the online renewal feature through Breeze. We're really happy to see that, because then that trends down how many applications we receive in-house. I believe last quarter it was 5%. We processed this quarter, we processed 4%. And DCA continues to process, just above 50%. So they're looking at the 58%. Enforcement program received 477 consumer complaints and 223 criminal conviction notifications. We closed 622 cases. We referred 54 cases for formal discipline to the Attorney General's office. We filed 18 accusations and 11 statement of issues. And the final number of citations in the fourth quarter was 69. Our average number of days to complete formal discipline, this is the total time from the date we received the complaint to the date the adjudication was completely final, was 888 days this quarter. That said, the bulk of the number does reside with the Attorney General's office. The average number of days from the time the board refers it to completion at the Attorney General's office is 469 days. So they have it just over a year. The average number of days for all investigations to be completed by the board, we're looking at 173 days. So, despite the fact that we've got two individuals that are liaisons with the AG's office, we're doing what we can, but with the due process that's afforded the individual subject to those disciplinary actions and the time constraints that we have scheduling hearings at the Office of Administrative Hearings, that really accounts for the nearly year it takes to resolve at the AG's office. And, hopefully through some of their new hires, we'll be able to improve that number. But we'll continue to move forward with it. Continuing education audits from January to June, we audited a total of 542 licensees. We're still hovering at about a 25-27% fail rate. And the failing rate is, and the reasons for failing the audit aren't consistent. Either they're not completing the required coursework within the renewal period, so that would be your law and ethics, the one-time renewal requirements, for example, the HIV/AIDS coursework, or they're taking the CE from an unapproved provider. So anyone that's not successful in the audit is referred to the enforcement unit, and we do issue a citation and fine. Outreach activity was robust in the last quarter. May is a very, very, very busy month for us. We have several professional conferences that we attend. We had a lot of the consortium meetings that we attend. And we had a pre-licensure meeting that the staff answered questions to. And then June, it kind of decreases a little bit, and it's just consortium meetings. But again, our attendance at these events is very well received. It's welcomed. and we're happy to be part of all of those conversations. So that's our operations report. Any questions? Yes.
So, quick question about the CE providers. So, we used to approve the CE providers. So, when will be the very, very last group of people that they are still holding the valid CE provider, not license, the approval?
Right.
So, so that's my question one, when actually we expect that it will completely fade out. The second one is that, I have licensees come and ask me, how do I check that if I take, from the current, still the BBS, approved providers, and how do they know that it's still valid? So it's about the availability of the information. I do look around and there's not a list online.
It's because the list is gone. There are no more BBS approved providers.
So there's
They've completely expired
faded
out.
out.
June 30th was the last, the
okay.
end. So if you took it in that renewal period and they had a valid CE number, it's very few. We'll still take it, but most people are taking it from a BBS provider and not checking to see that they were already expired.
So here comes the question about, let's say, within the renewal period is 2 years. And so they took the class probably 2015, and now they got an audit and saying that, we need to check. And so there's no list that they can go back and retrotract, retroactive to look at, if it is valid, right?
We would have it. If it was valid, if the provider number was valid at the time they took the CE, we will accept it. It's not that I'm not accepting anything after June 30th. I'm looking at the issue and the expiration date of the BBS provider.
Right.
So if it's valid, we accept it. So
let's say if, they hold that number, they didn't check at that time. Now they want to check it and there's no way that they could check it.
Which means it's not valid with us, but it could be valid with one of the approval agencies. They may have applied through ASWB, MBCC, CAMPT, AMFT, the Psychological Association, all of those. So as long as that, and a number of the providers that we issued an approval number to have done that. They were either already part of the approval agency or they've applied to be a CE provider through the approval agency. So as long as they are possessing a valid approval from one of those entities, we're fine with it. But what we're finding is the approval number is expired, or they're not approved through any of those entities at all.
So when the time when they're, the time when the licensee took the CE class, it was valid.
We take it.
You take it.
Yes.
But then they have no way to check out, now that 2 years ago that, whether the provider is still valid.
They could call the CE provider and ask because they would know when their board approval expired.
Mm-hmm.
So do they have like a direct extension? Because that's another issue that they call and nobody answer and.
Well, they could call the CE desk.
They could call the actual CE provider they took the course from.
That too.
Because that provider would know what approvals they have, and if they had a board approved CE provider number that had expired, they will know that they had that and when it expired because they would have had to have made other arrangements. So they should be very aware of when their board number expired.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And with the website redesign, one of the additions that we're going to put up is the links to the professional associations and so that it'll give the opportunity for licensees to verify that they're taking it from a valid provider. So we're in the process of getting that. I've talked to 2 entities already, and I can put the links up.
And for the approved ones, you can actually look, I believe, on Breeze
Yeah.
to see, and it'll tell you when they expired and when they were valid too. So
Right.
they could actually just go do a license search.
So Breeze will show
Pass.
the past history of even the CE provider.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that Breeze is on. Okay, thank you. Good information.
On the same matter, I remember last time we talked about being able to put on a website as a statistic the reason why people are failing the audit. Have we done that? I mean, just
Not
just
on
as
the
a wording?
website. What
Okay.
we've done is, because we're in the middle of a redesign,
Right.
I mean, we can certainly add that. It's not an issue. But what we have done is I've posted it in our newsletters.
Right.
And then when we've seen a trend that might be a concern to us, we've contacted those professional organizations and alerted them so that they can disseminate that information to their licensees as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Okay, so a lot of movement. We've added a lot of new staff. We've promoted some staff, so I will share those activities with you. We've in our examination unit, Jessica Diaz has joined us, and she is going to assist us with the processing of exam and re-examination applications. In the enforcement unit, we've added Annie Hugh, and she is providing support services, support tasks and duties in the enforcement program. We've promoted Yi Lee. She took a position in our licensing unit, so that left an opening in our cashiering unit. And we have hired Alex Vigil. We've added him to our staff, and he's working in our cashiering unit. And we've promoted, with the departure of our lead analyst in the MFT program, we've promoted Carl Peralta to that position now. So he's going to be the point person for all the MFT conferences and going out and attending those. We've also promoted Michelle Diaz. She was new to state service with us. She is now functioning in the licensing unit as an evaluator. And we are adding a new staff person to the licensing unit. Kimberly Brady will join us on September 1st. She comes to us from the League of California Cities, and she oversaw the monthly magazine for the Western cities. We've added a limited term probation monitor. So Amanda Cantrell will join us. The probation unit is overwhelmed with the number of probationers that we have. We now have 200 on probation, and that's just a tad more than a person and a half can handle. So we're hoping that we're going to see some robust improvement in our probation program with this addition. We said goodbye to one of our evaluators, Debbie McAdams and Andrea Patrick, and we said goodbye to also Amber Apodaca. She worked in our licensing program and she has gone back to private service. So with all those moving pieces, we have 5 vacancies, and one of those vacancies, I believe we just made a firm offer, and it's in the cashiering unit. Correct, Gina? Okay. So, and do we have a start date for that individual? September 11th. So the cashiering unit will be full, and we're really happy about that. So are there any questions about the personnel report? Happy to share with you the strategic planning process is underway. Surveys have been released. The survey for staff is out. The survey for stakeholders and licensees is out. And we encourage everyone that has received a contact or is now learning about it, please go to our website. The surveys are on our website. Please participate and provide us that information that we need. We are going to approach it in the same fashion. It will be developed October 19th and the 20th. Stakeholders are welcome to participate and helping us develop this new plan, our roadmap for the future. And in the packet, you will see sort of the planning stages, our roadmap on how we're going to get there. We're working with Solid, which is a DCA entity, and they're going to help us plan again. We had a really good experience last time. I'm looking forward to another one. Also in your packet are the biographies of the 2 individuals that will assist us in this plan. So, finally, in the packet for strategic planning, you'll see what we've accomplished. Generally, we, out of 30 some odd tasks and objectives, we've completed 19 of them. We've identified 6 or 7 of them as ongoing, routine, and 1 or 2 of them have been deferred for a discussion later down the road. But overall, I'm pretty pleased to report that the last strategic plan is complete, essentially. So I would compliment the board as well as board staff for their efforts to making sure that this all happened. Any questions about strategic plan? And I'm going to punt to Steve, and he's going to talk to you about our website.
And for optical purposes, I think we're going to actually do a presentation here. So if you're in that side, you might want to come on out so you can see. So I was just going to show you really quick, if you haven't been on there before. Hopefully you have, but this is our current website. It's done. It's served its purpose for us. It's been good. And the one thing that I want to do by showing you this is staff, and I think probably the public too, we always considered our website as now with the new type of website designs, it's too busy. A simple way to put it. A lot of information. We always want to display as much information as possible. As you can see, it's not like a current website, which is more, you know, Charles, you can help me out here too if you're around here. But it's click-based, I guess, is that for other better term is saying click-based. So currently, like if you go to our applicant page, you're going to have all these you're going to have these hyperlinks. Go to the hyperlinks, you're going to even get more hyperlinks, and it's just really, it's not easy to navigate. So our whole concept of making the new website is to make it user-friendly, and also making it for us in the background to make it so we can actually easily update it and make sure that we're consistently putting out the same message on the website. There's a lot of times on our current website where there's a lot of independent links that if one gets changed and we don't change the other one, pretty soon you have something talking about, let's say, CE and the CE link, but then there's another document on the website that is an outdated material for the CE and we miss it, so it causes confusion. So one of the big things we're pushing for is make it easy for the user and make it easy for the developer or us to actually change content really quick. So this is our old website, and before I click to the new one, this is still in development, so some of the background pictures and how it looks might not be the exact same, especially the first one that we're coming up on the front page. So let me show you. I'm talking about the pictures, so let me get to the. When you first get on our website, this is going to be our new front page. Real simple. We haven't really worked with this yet, but you'll be able to type in. Hopefully, it'll direct you to where you need to go. What Charles has been working on with the OIS team, internet team, the department's team, is indexing and taking all the material that we currently have in our website and placing it where it should go in our new website. And not to belabor, just really quickly to show you, if you go to applicant page, now you've got a real simple decision to make here. What license type are you interested in? So let's say LCSW. Okay. Great. Let's try that a different way. Come on, seriously? What do I have to do on that? No, it's on. VPN's on. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's just taking a little, it's slow. So, let's go to LCSW. Anyway, the development of it as we're waiting, Charles has done a really good job of distilling the information and putting it into the new format. We're real close. We want to get this out by September. I know we had promised in July. He got time, and now I think by the end of September we should have it up. Because I think right now we're in the development phase where we want to go through each of these just to make sure that we have the right information in the right place. So here's the LCSW experience. Really breaks it down. So if you're interested in an LCSW license, what do you need? Oh, these are the steps. You're interested, depending on where you are in the process. Let's say you want to register. You need to register for an associate. it will give you, we have the video guides, registration packet, and just real basic. One of the main things that we're trying to do too is for the content that is on the website, anything that has to do with, let's say, registering for your intern number will reside in one document or publication, so that if anything ever changes to those requirements, it's easy for us to change. Right now we do, like I said, we have the sometimes the difficulties in searching out everywhere on our website that information exists. Going through this process, I think it's actually going to help overall, not just the website, but really help us to solidify our message. So we're making sure that we're getting one single message out there for every aspect of our licensing. Is there anything you'd like to really share?
Christina says I have to introduce myself. So I'm Charles Johnson. I'm, for lack of a better term, the website administrator for the board.
Guru.
And I just kind of want to drive home the point. We did identify more than several redundancies in presentation on the website. So we definitely want to make sure that we distill our messages down to kind of one single point and make sure that we're on message pretty much all the time. Really the approach that I applied to this is that the less information to consume on the website, the more the user is going to get out of that. The analytics that we got from Google indicate that people spend about a minute to a minute and a half on each page. And in its current presentation, there's so much information that, intuitively we know that they're not consuming all of that information before they make a phone call or before the minute and 30 seconds is up. So, the ultimate goal is to empower the user with sufficient information where they maybe don't have to give us a phone call or send us an email. That information is straightforward and upfront.
Well, we like helping them out, but yes, we do want to make it easily accessible. We don't want them to have to even spend their time making a phone call. They should just be able to find the information, that's easily read and understandable. So, okay. Exams is kind of a cool area too. You did exams. We just really put it down to law and ethics. So you have your 2 exams you go to. If you need information about the law and ethics exams, it's all there, plus the candidate handbooks. And clinical exam, same thing. And then on each page you'll have all the forms that you need. So instead of right now we have the link to go to the forms page and stuff, it just makes it way more accessible. I think the other things about the new design of the website too, we have a whole bunch of various functions we can use. Putting alerts on here. There's just a lot of things we can do. So for the next few weeks, what we're going to be doing is looking over to get it really prepped to make sure we're ready to go, at the end of September to push this out. So, which one?
About us.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We just,
definitely show the
I don't know. This is
board members and
so that's the DCA. That's the basic
presentation.
And then about the board. So that's the history. I don't know what we kind of statutes and regulations. Legislations approved pending, and then regulations approved pending. So
Where's the book?
the book itself. I don't know. Do we have a link yet to that? We will have it.
Because I hunt for that.
I believe that's under media.
Publications. Oh, because it's publications. General. I'm thinking general and
So will that be easier to actually?
It's the third
separate?
one.
It's the third one, statutes and regulations.
Yeah,
Okay.
BBS statutes and regulations.
Okay, I would not have looked in media for that, but I understand now. I see the logic now. I would have looked in about us.
Yeah. What happens if you do statute?
There will be
Anyway.
some strategic placements of that particular link throughout the site. So that is a commonly consumed publication for us. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll
And-
be sure
and-
to cover that.
And I think with the way that Charles has indexed this, and we can really use the Google Analytics to see where our website is failing, or where we can make improvements. So we can kind of track that with the type of indexing you've done, because it really makes it easier to follow. So.
You used to have an area called consumers so that consumers can look up licensees and understand about the different laws. Is there a place for it in the top? There's-
That's a good question, actually. We'll have to revisit
so that
that.
consumers who are not people part of the board would want to.
I think the thought, and we'll have to meet on that a little bit more, because that is something we're really concerned about getting the other stuff over. But the consumers, I would say you're really either looking at about, or I can't really say.
A lot of it
enforcement,
is
but
placed under the enforcement tab.
because of the complaints.
And really the naming of these tabs is somewhat arbitrary at this point. We can change that enforcement tab to say consumers, because that's where
I think it's better because
the lion's share.
nobody's going to really understand enforcement but us.
Sure. That's where we welcome that type of feedback, where it's, what's intuitive to us who work inside the program may not be to an outsider. So, obviously that's why we go to a public meeting and collect that kind of feedback.
I mean, I would suggest actually keep enforcement where it is, add another tab called
Another tab,
consumers. And for under consumers, they can look up a licensee
Yeah,
and understand the professions.
That could be
do on the
problematic
front.
because, from what I understand, working with our Office of Information Services, is that this website template does not support having another option up there, or we risk crowding that. So
But
we would probably have to take one off of there, and
we can either rename,
Or
but
put
we
it
do have.
in about us. As a consumer, that's where I go first, about us. Like, who are these people?
So we could, I mean, we already have up here, I mean, you can make this a different type of, I think you can do differently where this is displayed, but if you want to verify a license, you go right there, that's on the front page. We could also, about us, you could put something in there saying, do you file a complaint or a license
Look up a
yeah.
licensee and then
Or there's a way to make it optically, I think, in here.
information about who the different professions are. Like, what's the difference between a this and a that?
That is something we have. That's something I want to put out there. We don't have anything really developed yet, other than currently on the website. What we have is the scope of practice.
That's fine.
That's it. And so,
That's
but
fine.
yeah, I do want to eventually.
So
do
consumers can look that up and compare them.
more of what. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes, at the moment with more traffic in our website, if we know that.
I think probably the biggest one is the publication. I mean, the forms and publications
so
and exams.
the forms and publications tab is number one, because all of our forms currently are collected on that page. So anybody who wants to consume a form has to route themselves to that page. Because of the what's been going on with our exams, and that the exam news page has been, where everyone goes to get their updates when we're withholding exam scores, when we're releasing exam scores, stuff like that. So that one's been popular since January 1st of 2016.
So I know that a year ago, I believe we did we were in the process of redoing the logo, right? So I don't know where we are with that. We kind of
Still, we're going to be meeting on that I believe it's in October, I think, the logo at the strategic plan. We're going to be looking at that, yeah.
I'm only asking because I know obviously we want to make sure that with the logo, it's going to maybe bring new colors, new right graphics to it. So I wonder how it will interact with the new website, then you'll have to pretty much redesign things around it. I'm just guessing.
It would just be I think the only thing that would be the color scheme. I mean, the color scheme would be, but then they already, I think with the logo and stuff, they might have an idea of where we're going to be going with those colors, and they almost the same departments, we can,
Okay.
That's a good point though, yeah. So,
I really like this. I mean, I think it's simple and clear. It'll be so much easier for applicants to get through this process, which I know that's probably the biggest area that people go look up, and that's really much cleaner.
and the other thing that Charles was showing me the other day is kind of like how it would look on your phone.
Oh, right. Good.
So it really makes it easy on your phone.
The meetings page will best display that. Yeah.
Okay. About us? No. Yeah.
Yeah, about us.
2017. So he really goes down there. So it makes it way.
Is there an outline of where people, like to create a document that has an outline of where people can find things that we could post on this website, send out to the universities, send out to the organizations so they can get the word out instead of people just clicking around and looking for stuff? I mean, some of it's intuitive, but I don't know if there's
You mean like for depending on
when
what?
we launch it.
Oh. Yeah, well, no, I mean, when we launch it, we will definitely, do all our usual social media,
Not just that,
subscriber.
look, we have a new webpage, but here's where you find things. Like a definition under About Us has these major
Yeah.
categories. Applicants has these major categories.
Yeah, it's called the Sitemap. Yeah,
The sitemap.
Yeah, we could.
So the mouse over, I don't mean to throw this back on the user right away here, but when you mouse over those tabs, it will actually bring up the different categories or the pages that are contained under that index folder. So if you go to applicant, clearly you can select the different license types. With enforcement, it has all of those different categories. So.
Right, but there's still a lot of licensees who are, as my colleague calls herself, a technotard and feels anxious about those kinds of things. Or if they're doing it on their phone and the hover doesn't work as well with your finger on the phone. I'm just suggesting, because at least it's an effort to show, hey, we want to make this as smooth a transition as possible.
Mm-hmm. We can see what we can do. I think we can.
Yeah, certainly. We could meet to talk about some more focused items on something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the sitemap would be sort of the generic solution for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just add that we can always put something in the newsletter as well.
Yeah. We can.
So Steve, can you show the licensing tab?
Licensing tab?
Yeah. And just click one of the,
Those are not
These
very
I don't think
well developed right now.
So manage your license. We're going to have in there stuff about renewals and such. Continuing education. That's currently just what we have in our stuff now. Maybe so.
How about clinical supervision? For those who are the clinical supervisors. So that would be pertaining to that's a big deal.
Yeah, we'll have some supervisor resources in the
I think
in that licensee menu.
Because we have
it's just not well developed at this point. So.
We have it currently. We have it on our current website.
Yes.
Yeah,
it is built into the LCSW applicant information. supervision guides and forms, and again, you know, some of that stuff needs to be cleaned up so it gets, you know, like I said, condensed down to singular messages. But yeah, we're chugging along.
No, you're doing a good job. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I get updates every day. It seems like it's good. Good job. We're pushing for the end of September. So I feel embarrassed because I was promising this June, July. So, but I think we're at a good point, and it's really, it's just a matter of kind of sitting down with it, just going through it to make sure. I mean, we're going to find things after we release it, but it should be easier to, you know, address them quicker and such. So.
So on the front page, will you have links, say like go online renewal, because that's, you know, that's a big hit, you know, and that's something
We can. I mean, there's a lot of. I should have showed you that too. There's like up here too. You can there's a lot of this template. There's a lot you can do with the template itself. So file manage your license, media. You can have your. That's your face or Twitter. That's your Facebook account. You can have that up there. So.
Yeah, I don't have a problem campaigning for the online transactions, as maybe you can.
Yeah, no, we want to push towards that. So, yeah. Okay.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Yeah, I think we're done.
At this point, we're going to take a 15-minute break. We have 2 presentations coming up next. And just a note, housekeeping, the downstairs bathrooms are inoperable, so you'll need to go up the elevator or the stairs to the second floor restrooms.